Welcome to our countdown of the most bizarre state laws in Georgia that you won't believe actually exist. That's right, folks. We're diving deep into the legal oddities of the Peach State, where apparently the only thing sweeter than a Georgia peach is the sheer absurdity of some of their laws. Now, we all know laws are important. They keep society from descending into utter chaos. But somewhere along the line, Georgia seems to have confused necessary with completely and utterly baffling. Seriously, some of these laws are so out there you'd think they were written by a team of squirrels who got into a shipment of fermented peaches. First up, we have a law that's both specific and utterly perplexing. In Georgia, it's illegal to carry an ice cream cone in your back pocket on a Sunday. Yes, you heard that right. Apparently back in the day, horse thieves would lure unsuspecting steeds away with the promise of a sweet frozen treat. So, to combat this incredibly specific crime wave, they slapped a law on it. Now, I don't know about you, but if I'm a horse thief, an ice cream cone is pretty low on my list of persuasive tactics. I'd probably go with something a little more enticing, like, I don't know, a bucket of oats, or maybe a really nice saddle. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a guy who enjoys a good cone without fear of arrest on a Sunday. The real question is, how strictly is this law enforced? Do they have undercover ice cream cone police patrolling the streets on Sundays, peering into people's back pockets? Hold on right there, sir. Is that a Neapolitan I see back there? You're nicked. It's just mind-boggling. And it really makes you wonder what other bizarre laws are lurking in the dusty legal books of this fine state. Next up, we have a law that's so specific it feels like it must have been inspired by a real-life event. And wouldn't you know it, it was. In Georgia, it is strictly prohibited to keep a donkey in a bathtub. Now I know what you're thinking. Who in their right mind would even attempt such a thing? Well, apparently someone did. Legend has it, a flood swept through a town in Georgia, and in the chaos, a donkey ended up seeking refuge in a conveniently vacant bathtub. Now, I'm not sure how comfortable the donkey was in this situation, nor am I aware of the bathtub owner's feelings on the matter. But it was clearly bizarre enough to inspire a law. So there you have it, folks. No donkeys in bathtubs. It's right there in the Georgia legal code, sandwiched between no public displays of indecent banana peels, and all squirrels must wear pants when crossing the road. Just kidding. Probably. Let's move on to a law that's near and dear to my heart, or rather, my stomach. In Gainesville, Georgia, there's a very specific way you're supposed to enjoy your fried chicken. Are you ready for this? You can only eat it with your hands. That's right, folks, using a fork is strictly prohibited. This law, apparently passed in 1965, seems to stem from a desire to preserve the sanctity of this southern delicacy. Now, I'm not from the South, but even I can appreciate the simple pleasure of digging into a plate of fried chicken with reckless abandon. But a law? Really? What are they going to do? Dispatch a team of poultry police to monitor the silverware usage in every fried chicken establishment in town? Put the fork down slowly, sir, and step away from the drumstick. It's just bizarre. And frankly, a little bit insulting to the fine art of fork manufacturing. Okay, this next one is just, well, it's peak Georgia. You know how sometimes you see a law and think, how on earth did this even become a problem? This is one of those laws. In Georgia, it is illegal to tie a giraffe to a telephone pole. Now, I'm no lawyer, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this wasn't exactly a rampant issue plaguing the good people of Georgia. I mean, where do you even find a giraffe in Georgia? And more importantly, who had the bright idea to tie one to a telephone pole? Was it a prank gone wrong? A desperate attempt at urban landscaping? We may never know the true story behind this law, but one thing's for sure. If you're ever in Georgia and the urge to tie a giraffe to a telephone pole strikes, just don't. Alright, let's dial things back a bit with a law that's a little more understandable, shall we? In Georgia, it is considered a misdemeanor to use obscene language over the telephone. Now, I'm not advocating for a barrage of expletives every time you pick up the phone, but a misdemeanor? Seems a bit much, doesn't it? I mean, we've all been there, right? Stuck on hold for the 100th time, listening to that same awful elevator music, and suddenly, a stray dam slips out. Are the phone police going to bust down the door and haul you away for a strongly worded conversation with a customer service representative? What about those passionate arguments with telemarketers? No, I do not want to switch my car insurance, and frankly, sir, your offer is an insult to my intelligence. Boom, misdemeanor. It's a slippery slope, people. A very slippery, expletive-laden slope. Now this next one is just plain fishy. In Athens, Clarke County, Georgia, you can't just hand out goldfish as bingo prizes. That's right, folks, those poor, unsuspecting goldfish are no longer subject to the whims of bingo night. Apparently goldfish gambling was becoming a real problem in Athens, Clarke County. I know, it's hard to believe, but picture this. Tensions are high, bingo cards are clutched in sweaty hands, and the caller announces, B12! Suddenly the room erupts in cheers and gasps as two players slam their cards on the table, both yelling, Bingo! But wait, what's this? It's not a cash prize, it's not a year's supply of prunes, it's a goldfish. The drama, the intrigue, the sheer, unadulterated thrill of winning a creature that will inevitably end up swimming in circles in a bowl on your nightstand. It's enough to make anyone break out in a cold sweat. Or maybe not. Either way, the good people of Athens, Clarke County have spoken no more goldfish gambling. Let's move on to a law that's a little more somber. In Georgia, it's illegal to be drunk in a cemetery. Now I know what you're thinking, finally a sensible law, and I'm inclined to agree. I mean, cemeteries are places of respect, remembrance, and quiet contemplation. Not exactly the ideal setting for a raucous kegger, right? But then again, who among us hasn't poured one out for a homie, so to speak? And is a little tipsiness really that disrespectful when you're toasting to the dearly departed? Look, I'm not saying you should show up to a funeral with a beer bong and a party hat, but a little liquid courage to face the Grim Reaper? Maybe it's not the worst thing in the world. Just maybe. But hey, don't take my word for it, I'm not a lawyer, nor am I dead, yet. Attention all late-night snackers. In Athens, Georgia, you need to be mindful of your horn-honking etiquette, especially when you're craving a hoagie after 9 p.m. That's right, folks. Honking your horn near a sandwich shop after hours is a big no-no. Apparently, nothing disrupts the peace and tranquility of a late-night sandwich run like the blaring of a car horn. Now, I'm all for a little peace and quiet, but this seems a bit excessive, doesn't it? What if you're picking up your buddy who's working the graveyard shift at the deli? Are you supposed to just sit there in silence, hoping he glances out the window at the exact moment you arrive? And what about those late-night cravings that can only be satisfied by a double-meat Italian sub? Are we expected to suppress our hunger-induced horn honks? It's just not right, people. Not right at all. This next one seems like common sense, but then again, we are talking about Georgia. In the Peach State, it is illegal to have a picnic in a graveyard. Now, I'm not sure if this was a widespread issue before the law was passed. Were hordes of hungry Georgians descending upon cemeteries with their wicker baskets and checkered blankets, ready to feast amongst the headstones? It's a rather morbid thought, isn't it? Picnicking in a place specifically designated for the dearly departed. I mean, I enjoy a good charcuterie board as much as the next person, but something about spreading out a blanket and munching on grapes while surrounded by tombstones just seems wrong. It's like setting up a barbecue in a funeral home or hosting a karaoke night in a mausoleum. Some lines just shouldn't be crossed, people. And finally, we arrive at a law that's as baffling as it is potentially problematic. In Dublin, Georgia, wearing a hoodie in public is a no-go. Yes, you heard that right. That seemingly innocuous article of clothing that's a staple in every college student's wardrobe is strictly prohibited in this fine city. Now, the law itself is vague, and its origins are murky at best, but the implications are, well, let's just say they raise a few eyebrows. Is it about public safety, fashion sense, or something else entirely? We may never know the true motivations behind this law, but one thing's for sure. If you're ever in Dublin, Georgia, and the temperature drops, you better reach for a scarf instead of that trusty hoodie. And there you have it, some of the most bizarre laws in Georgia that you probably never knew existed. From donkey-free bathtubs to the great fried chicken fork debate, Georgia's legal landscape is a veritable minefield of the strange and absurd. It makes you wonder, what were they thinking? Were these laws passed in a fit of boredom? Or did something truly wild happen to inspire such specific legislation? Whatever the reason, one thing's for sure. Georgia's weird laws are a testament to the fact that truth is often stranger than fiction. So, the next time you think your life is boring, just remember, at least you don't live in a state where you can get arrested for carrying an ice cream cone in your back pocket on a Sunday. Which one surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below.